Happy New Year, my friend. Oh my gosh, it is 2026. And I want this to be the year that you actually achieve your goal or make significant progress. Sometimes our goals are multi year. And so I want you to actually make this the year. And I know you're feeling it because if you're listening to this live, this is like the most energetic time of like, yes, I can do the thing. And so we're talking about it today. And if you follow through with what we're talking about today, then you, my friend, will stop breaking promises to yourself and actually follow through and achieve your goals or make significant progress towards that big thing you're working towards over multiple years. And here's the thing that is not so fun. 80% of people actually quit moving the needle forward on their goals within, oh my gosh, this hurts my heart, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And people are giving up. And this is proven by a study that was done in 2019 by Strava. And they were specifically looking at New Year's resolutions, but this can be applied to any goal, anytime. And the reality is 80% of people give up. And I've actually seen this like 12 to 14 day dip with most of my clients. Not to say they don't get back on and keep making progress, but we often see a dip in week 2. So that's why we tend to give up in week 2. And so, because typically you have some momentum in week 1, you're feeling energized, you're like, yes, I can do this. You have a quick win. Week 2 kicks your butt, right? And something happens and it throws you off your plan and it's really hard to get back on track. So I thought we'd talk a little bit about why this happens and then my suggestion of how to move forward so that you can stop breaking promises to yourself. Because chances are you have told yourself you want something this year, whether you have claimed it as a resolution or set it as a goal or told other people or hold it into yourself, no matter what, something has trickled in your mind of you want to accomplish something this year. So let's talk about why we have lack of follow through, because I think it's really important to root in this is why it's happening and you're not alone. You are absolutely not alone with this because so many of us, if not every single person, definitely every person I've ever met, runs into something, one or multiple of these things. So one of the reasons that we have lack of follow through is, my friend, we love instant gratification. I don't know about you, but I don't know anyone who doesn't love it, right? When we can have instant gratification, it really helps our brain. That dopamine release is quick and it feels good. We like this. And so when we don't have instant gratification, it's really hard to keep going. So positive psychology said this. Instant gratification is the desire to experience pleasure or fulfillment without delay, often leading to short-term satisfaction, but long-term consequences. However, delaying gratification by practicing self-control and mindfulness helps you achieve, get ready for it, friend, more meaningful goals and improves overall well-being. So when we think about this idea of instant gratification, I want us to remember that if we can delay gratification, it actually supports us in the long term so much more. And this can show up in many different ways. Sometimes it's online shopping instead of doing the deep work that you told yourself you're going to do. Sometimes it's fiddling around in Canva. Let's all admit we've done it, okay? We've all had those times where we're like, I should be working on this thing because I said I was going to do it, but this feels way more fun. I am going to do this thing. I like to think of it of like when we think of instant gratification is that we live in a microwave society, but the oven would actually give us better results. I don't know about you, but I heat stuff up in the microwave, whether you like that or not. The reality is I use the microwave. And sometimes I wish I had used the oven because it would taste better if I had just taken the time to stick it in the oven, the toaster oven or the big oven, right? And to actually let it slow heat versus the fast heat would actually be better, but I chose the faster option. So I think about that with my goals and how I, am going about my day. And I think that'll be a really helpful tool for you to think about too. Another reason that we have lack of follow through is that we rely on motivation versus momentum or discipline or thinking about that idea of follow through. And the thing is, and you've probably heard me say this before, or maybe other people, but motivation is a feeling and feelings are fleeting. Now, we love it when the feeling of anger or sadness is fleeting. We don't necessarily want those to hang around all the time. And so we welcome the fact that it's fleeting. But we have to remember that motivation is a feeling, and so it is going to be fleeting too. And we have to remember that just because we don't feel motivated doesn't mean we can't take the action. And it also doesn't mean it's a sign that the thing is not for you. Because motivation is not the thing that you're looking for. You're looking for momentum. You're looking for the discipline it takes to continue to move forward even when you don't feel like doing it. And the third one, this one's a really big one. There's only been a handful of people I've worked with in all the years that I've been coaching people that don't fall into this trap. I think we all can fall into the other ones. This one is super rare for specifically the people that I tend to work with to really work on this one. And it takes a lot of effort to not do this. And it's that we tend to overcommit. And you probably just felt that in your gut a little bit. Like, how many times have you overcommitted yourself? And it's literally impossible for you to actually follow through with the things that you said you would do by a certain amount of time. It's not possible for most of us. And therefore, when we do that, instead of saying, I overcommitted, oh shoot, like I need to be better about this for next time, instead we think, I failed. I couldn't do it. And the reality was, it was impossible. It was absolutely impossible for you to do it in the first place. But because you're not recognizing that it was a choice to overcommit, which we've all done, I'm not pointing blame here, we've all done this. But we have to recognize, oh, that's a choice I made versus the fact of I'm a failure because I couldn't fit it all in. My friend, you are not a failure. You simply overcommitted. And it's something, good news, you can change. Then that's something that you can absolutely identify and move forward with, and it's a wonderful thing. So instead of like holding that shame and saying like, I failed, I couldn't do it all, let's let that go. And so once we know these things, so you're not alone, there's many reasons why we have lack of follow through. All of us do it. And I'm kind of making light of it. But the reality is I know it's a heavy burden when you feel like you're not following through and you're like, 2026 is going to be the year, right? So how do you move forward when you don't want to carry that guilt forward, right? We want to move forward with confidence, with ease, with peace, not with guilt of, I didn't do it before. Why would I do it this time, right? We don't want to do that. So I want to invite you to something that I am doing, and I'm going to share one of the steps here on the podcast, but I do want to invite you to the Momentum Masterclass, which I'm actually teaching live, and I'm going to share 5 steps on how you can identify what's going on and how to get back on track without that guilt. It's a 5-step process, and I want to make sure to go into each one of the steps and give you the tools so that you can get back on track anytime you're thrown off. Not just now, if you're listening to this in January, but in July, when you get that summer bump of like, oh gosh, I haven't done anything. Or in the fall when you're ready to hit things up again. It's anytime. It could be any time that you're using this. It is not just at the beginning of the year. So that is happening I'm going to teach it live on Friday, January 9th. Why January 9th? Good question, my friend. Because that is National Quitters Day. So I told you at the beginning of this episode, 80% of people stop moving forward with their goals within 2 weeks. So a few years ago, based on that 2019 study, it was declared that the second Friday in January is National Quitters Day. This year, that falls on January 9th. So I'm teaching it on January 9th. Now, if you're listening live and you can get in before January 9th, I'd love to have you there. If you're listening after January 9th, don't worry. I'm going to have the replay available for purchase as well. And the replay will be slightly different. It will not have anything related to New Year's. I'll talk a few minutes on the live session about New Year's and why it's different, and we'll have some Q&A at the end. The replay will simply be the method in which you can get back on track so that it's applicable all year long. And all you have to do to sign up for that is go to amandamckinney.com/work with me and purchase the Momentum Masterclass. It's $47, super easy. You'll have lifetime access so that you can watch the replay anytime that you need it. So it's the gift that keeps on giving, my friend. But as promised, I'm going to give you step one here on the podcast because maybe that's not something you want to purchase, and I totally get that. I still want you to have one piece of the puzzle because when you have this one piece, it's remarkable what you can do. I hope that you join me and know the other 4 steps so that it can support you. This process can support you all year long and for years to come. But even if that doesn't feel like the right next step for you, I want you to know this piece because it's remarkable. And the first step is to release. I talked about moving forward without the guilt. I need you to release things that no longer serve you. And so often that is, I broke a promise to myself. I overcommitted my calendar. I always do this. And it's these feelings of, well, I just can't keep going, or life is too messy. We need to release all of that. And understanding that life is never going to be perfect. You're never going to create the most perfect plan. And chances are you're going to miss something. And so I want you to hold the words I'm about to say in your heart and your mind as you move forward. And one of my dear friends, Megan, shout out to Megan, told me this many, many years ago. And she said, Amanda, just miss it and move on. And oh my gosh, her words have stuck with me. I have mentioned them on this podcast, on the first podcast. If you've been coached by me, you've definitely heard it many, many times. Miss it and move on. Because if we constantly compare ourselves or hold ourselves to the perfect schedule and the perfect, 100% of success, like we can't live up to that. We have to release that and we have to miss it and move on so that we can move forward. Because so often we're comparing ourselves to maybe the time we used to have, the energy we used to have. Maybe you have a different health condition or a different health, just things are going on with you right now. And you have to admit, okay, I don't have as much energy as I did 6 months ago, a year ago, 5 years ago. And I need to work with the energy that I have now. And so we're releasing the previous version of you that you're comparing yourself to. Or maybe you need to release the fact that you're comparing yourself to other people and other people's schedule, that you wish you had more time or you wish you had those resources. Sure, wish all you want, but that's not going to get them for you. Understanding your current capacity and honoring your current capacity is what's going to help you move forward. But the first step in doing anything about getting back on track if you have fallen off is releasing the fact that you either told yourself you would do something and you didn't do it. So you're feeling like you broke a promise to yourself. You're feeling like you failed. You've got to release that guilt, or releasing the idea of what it could be and actually grounding yourself in the reality of what you have right now. Because when you do this, my friend, when you release yourself from these thoughts and these feelings and these comparisons and these expectations that are not realistic for you, you can actually achieve progress and peace at the same time. You can get back on track no matter what life throws your way. Maybe things feel really rocky already and we're just a few days into the year. It's okay. Let's ground ourselves in the current reality and move forward with that. So release is that first step. So your accountable action after listening to this episode today is to grab your spot in that momentum masterclass that I'm going to be teaching, or grab the replay. And all you have to do, remember, go to amandamckinney.com/work with me and find the momentum masterclass. But even if you don't want to do that, release yourself from whatever is holding on to you right now, whatever is keeping you from making progress, from getting back on track. If you have already fallen off, or if you're anticipating falling off because you're really close to that time frame, release yourself from it, miss it, and move on, and get back onto your plan. Maybe you need to adjust. Maybe you need to do different things, but make sure that 2026 is the year that instead of setting a plan and hoping that it goes perfectly, that you release yourself from that expectation and you say, I'm going to commit to this and I'm going to adjust along the way, and that's all right. It's actually more than all right. It's expected, and that's all right, because when I adjust, that means I'm really committed to this and I'll stop breaking promises to myself. And you'll experience both progress and peace at the same time. And that is what I hope for you as you move forward. So sign up for that masterclass. I hope to see you there, or grab the replay. And until next time, I'll talk to you soon.